New campaign and new characters for Curse of Strahd. I am running a module for the first time as a dungeon master. I've always been homebrew. If you know anything about me, that shouldn't surprise you. But I really wanted to run a module. I've never done it, and I wanted to do it, right? And I plan on making my own modules. And in part of the process, I want to know what things are missing from the creation process. So as I'm preparing for this, I'm making notes all the time, and I cannot wait to make my own module from all the things that I've learned, because I have taken Curse of Strahd and ran with it. I've pretty much at every turn changed up some parts of lore and refixed some certain things here and there, in my opinion. And if there's enough interest, I might make videos on that, but who knows? But this video is for the characters of this campaign. If you're interested in watching it on the Dungeon Coach Plays, all of the stuff will be here, and the breakdowns of what's going on, the behind the scenes, the Dungeon Master tips, the different moves and tweaks and changes I had to make on the fly. All of the behind the scenes, behind the screen stuff will be on Dungeon Coach Plays, and the actual gameplay footage itself will be on Patreon. So that's how the whole thing works. And now the characters. So there's 5 characters at the party, and I'm going to go around the table just for my own visual self as far as the table goes. I'm going to go around the table for who each of these characters are, but first, the big picture, right? There are 5 players, and in general, they are in 2 groups, a group of 3 and a group of 2. I like to do this during session 0. We had a session 0 at a restaurant. We went over to a little pub of a bar. Everybody kind of had some stuff. We talked about who people are going to be and pairings and certain little cues that I ask players, like who knows each other beforehand, and like just trying to find little connections between them. And it ended up being a group of 3 and a group of 2 that have came together. And usually I like, in general, as a dungeon master, I'd prefer the groups to already know each other before the campaign starts. That's just nice. But sometimes it is cool to find that bond, find that journey in between. So how this whole thing works is these three knew each other beforehand. They did some stuff, and they're on an adventure and traveling. They haven't really known each other for too long, though. And these other 2 are brothers, and they traveled around together and all of that. So you have a rogue and a bard brothers who were basically traveling circus people, and all of the skills and before a dagger thrower, the rogue, and a performer, the bard. See it? You see it? Traveling circus performers, and then something went awry. We'll get into that in a second. And then they left the circus, and now they travel and do all their stuff independently, just the 2 of them traveling from town to town, doing Robin Hood type stuff, right? So that's the 2 of them. The other 3 are a religious group of people. How perfect in a Curse of Strahd setting. This religious group of people follow the god Sol, and technically the sub-god underneath Sol, Belanos. This is all lore I've created myself. This is not other things. So Belanos is the god of fire. The Sol is the god of the sun, and they follow them in some way, shape, or form. The 3 of them came together on a religious crusade of journey of some kind to travel towards a location and repair a broken beacon towards that god that has gone out for some reason. So that's where this whole thing went. 3 people on a crusade of some kind, 2 people on a performance journey of some kind. They wandered towards the land of Barovia, and then they entered into that land. So around the table, from the left of me going around, we start off with Louisa. Louisa is the zealot barbarian. Now, this campaign started off at level 1. They are going to go through Death House, but it's a heavily modified version of Death House that's not even... Anyway, the most amount of changes I've done is to that thing, and that's a whole long story. But Louisa, she's a zealot barbarian, and I had her choose her subclass early just so we knew the direction she's going on, and zealot with the whole religious vibes fit in with the other 3 characters, so that's where the zealot comes from. She is still level 1, starting off at level 1. So that's her, a female human character, and zealot barbarian. That's a super simple. Her background is she was grew up in the edge of a outside territory of a land. Her parents were kind of hippies on the outskirts, lumberjack type people, really strong barbarian type barbarian hippies. There we go. And she was isolated off into the distance, and then she wandered off, and she loved nature and animals and all these types of things. She stumbled upon a ferret, which is her pet ferret now that she has. I'm going to kill it. It has 2 health. I'm going to kill that ferret. We'll see. Oh my gosh, I just realized something that happened with her ferret. We got to talk about that. Anyway, with her character, she stumbled upon, when she found this ferret, there's a huge burst of light, and now her hands glow whenever she rages. This is her rage mechanic. Whenever she rages, her hands glow with an energy, and she feels a surge of strength. So huge flash of light. Maybe it's wrapped around this ferret, maybe not. I'm not going to tell the answer of what that really is. This is just what the players know. All the spoilers will be on the Dungeon Coach Plays channel. And all these different follow-ups. So that's that character. Next character around the table is Felix, the Soul Knife Rogue, human male. He is not a Soul Knife yet, obviously. He starts off as a rogue, and he starts off as a circus-performing rogue, where he throws daggers to avoid people, and now he's trying to have to learn to throw daggers at things, right? So it's been a really cool journey for him to kind of see that whole thing go. And a quick little mini spoiler is he runs away from everything, and then it's really cool to see the progression of him not running away from everything, but then still kind of running away from everything. So super cool character there. Him and the next character on the table, I'll say their backstories together. Lars. Lars is a human male eloquence bard, performing poet. This is the poet sign of bard. I always really pressure my bards. What kind of bard are you? Are you music? Are you dancing? Are you whatever? He is a poetry, word spitting, rhyming bard. That's where his magic comes from. And he does his performances in all these different types of ways. And those two brothers came from a circus. They actually are nobility. And they had all this nobility background. They didn't really want to go with the whole nobility thing. They left to join a circus, and they're in the circus. They're performing for a while, and then something goes awry. In their backstory, and I'm going to be very vague with this, in their backstory, was a love interest, that both of them had a love interest in one of the girls as members of the circus, and Felix was the one who won her affection, and Lars kind of resented him for it a little bit. There was a fire that broke out in the circus, and all chaos broke loose, and that one, their mutual love interest, did not make it out of that fire, and Felix is left with scars and burn marks on his face from trying to save her but not being able to. And then all the chaos of the circus, they left the circus, and they are now traveling, doing their own thing. And this group, they're traveling, doing their own thing, and the next town they're going towards, on their way to that, is when they go and get taken into the mists of Barovia. Next character around the table, Finian. Finian is a female halfling light domain cleric. Now, the light domain cleric in this case is flames, fire, the light that comes from a fire. They serve the god Belanos, Lord of the Flames, etc. And the light is the fire, and so there's a little bit of it's light, but it's a little bit of an offensive, fiery, cleansing, healing light. But fire is the big component there. Finian was a part of a clergy and has gone up through the ranks of all of the things in a classic type of religious Belanos serving type of way, and is kind of the leader of these three group of the as far as the religious group goes, because we have a cleric, a paladin, and a barbarian in like a descending order of churchliness, of holiness, right? Cleric, and then a paladin, and then a barbarian that doesn't even understand what their powers are going for, or happening, or going from, or do anything, but it's light, which is the god of soul, so maybe it has to do with that. Who knows? I know, but I'm not saying anything. Anyway, so that is Finian. And then Pug is the final character and the final person at the table. Pug is a human male, devotion paladin. And they, in the same way, have they grew up, their brother was super into the whole Belanos thing, and then all of the church type of religion stuff, and wanted to become a paladin. Brother died in combat next to Pug, and Pug wanted to carry on that forward and picked up the mantle of a paladin and have learned the tenets and fell into it, all this whole thing, and starting to buy into it, but still a little skeptical. So a really interesting paladin perspective going in here. And as you'll see as these things go on, Pug has some really crazy moments as far as this discovery of their powers and how this whole thing comes into picture. So that's the big group. We have a barbarian, human barbarian, human rogue, human bard, halfling, which is also like a 3 foot tall, super short halfling cleric, and a human paladin. So that's the big picture of the group. That's where everything's going. And also for the religious group, the barbarian was looking for answers as to why that she has her hands glowing in light. She was sent to a location to kind of be, to talk to about what's possibly going on. While there was a group of forming up for some crusades of different things that they were going out to, because there's some weird things going on in the land. And off towards this certain direction, one of the beacons, one of the light beacons towards Sol has gone out, and they sent a group off that way. That group being the barbarian, the paladin, and the cleric. were in that group. Also with another little NPC I threw in there. The game starts off with an NPC called Pascal that is just a absolute. He's just basically he's not a class. He's just neutral. He's just spreading the word of Belanos and Soul, and tries to be a hype man, but he's in over his head in this whole Curse of Strahd thing, and he's just a hopeless mess pretty much the whole time. So that's been a fun little NPC for them to be. A fun, useless NPC that's technically part of the party, but there's that, and that's where the campaign's starting, and stay tuned for more. So stay creative, think outside the box, because this is a dark Curse of Strahd box. Peace.